Hi everyone, my name is Mitraj Bharadwaj and welcome to another video. In this video, me and my friends are going to be solving a mock. We are going to tell you how we as IPM students would follow a mock. So the video is divided into three sections. The first section will be solved by Debarnab Chatterjee, which is the short answer questions. The second is the MCQ questions in quants. Those will be solved partially by me, partially by Kushal Somani. This is because so that you can get various approaches to different questions and you can get an idea how different people solve different mocks. Third question is the verbal ability, which will be solved completely by me. So let's start with the short answer part.
Hi, I'm Debarnab Chatterjee and I'll be solving the quantitative ability, this short answer section. So I feel this is one of the most important sections of the exam because it's a high scoring section. There are 20 questions available, there's no negative marking, and if you have your concepts right, it's very easy to go through the questions and solve them. However, do remember that a very good attempt will be 13 to 14 questions and an excellent attempt will be something between 15 to 16 questions. So don't feel stressed out if you can't do each of them. Even I skipped questions in my actual exam. So it's completely fine from that perspective. So just try to attempt the ones that you are completely sure of and skip the ones that you have doubts about. So let's get started. For the first question, it's a pretty simple problem. For this sort of problems, you just need to follow the Bodh mass rule and solve it. So in case of this, let's say 2 4 by 5 into 7 by 4 by 8 by 15, you must first solve this bit of the equation before multiplying it with 2 4 by 5, which is essentially equal to 14 by 5. So this into the result of this bit you multiply and then you get, and similarly you do for the top part and you get the final solution. It's a pretty simple solution and you check by how much the actual answer is less than 10. So in this sort of case, it's wise to always underline less than or something like that so that you don't mistake it. In the second question, what we see is PQ is an arc of a circle whose center is O. The area of the sector POQ is equal to the length of PQ. Find the radius of the circle in centimeter. So for this sort of a question, what you should do is for this sort of a question, what you should do is you quickly know that it can be done by substitution. Simple strategy will be, y by 2 pi, where this is nothing but the arc length as you can see from the solutions, into pi r square is equal to y by 2 into, since the pi and pi gets cancelled, this is equal to r square, and the length will be just equal to yr. So yr equals to y by 2 r square. So from this it's a very simple question and you get the final r to be equal to 2. So as the question asks, what do you find the radius of the circle in centimeters? So you know r equals to 2. Moving on, what is the digit at the units place? This sort of sums are pretty easy if you can identify them well. So for this particular question, what you can do is you can use binomial theorem. So you get 200 plus 1 whole to the power 8. So to find the hundreds place, we just need to check the last two terms. Last term will be 1 to the power 8 and second last term will be 8c7 1 to the power 7 into 200. The terms before that will contain more than 2 zeros, so essentially that will mean it will not have any impact on the hundreds place. So this will be 1 plus 8c7 is nothing but 8 into 200, that is 1600. So that will just come out to be 1601. So something plus 6 plus a, let's say, so where a is a bigger number. So in this case, you know that the last 3 digits will be nothing but 601. Okay, so this question, a new game is devised on the lines of snooker ball with 21 balls. What must be the approximate size of the triangular holder to place the balls before starting the game? Assume that the holder has all its sides equal size and each ball has a diameter of 4 inches. So personally, I was not very good at geometry, so I skipped these questions. So it's up to you whether you want to do it or not. So as you can see from here, the approach to solving this sort of sums is you know that 21 sides of equal side, that means all the sides are equal, that means the triangle that has to be formed has to be equilateral in nature. This has to be equilateral in nature. That means from any side you check, there should be equal number of base, the base length should be the same, equal number of balls in the base. So for that you can do it simply like this: 7 6 or 6 5 4 3 2 1, which will add up to 21. 6 into 7 by 2, simple summation of an arithmetic progression. And then you know that you figured out what is the basically nothing but the, you know the diameter already, diameter of 4 inches. You know this will be a 30 degree, and this is a 2, this will be 2 in length. So from that you can use a simple tan formula and find out that the base will be 2 root 3. So from that you can simply do 5 into 4 plus 2 root 3 and you can get the answer. So which comes out to be 26.9 minus 27. So yeah. So what is the maximum number of chords? So for this, it's, you don't have to even do it very mathematically. Use your intuition a bit, use your imaginative powers a bit. So best way of doing this is, think of a circle and none of the lines intersect each other. You have one line like this, you have another line like this, you have another line like this, you have another line like this, another one like this, another line. Now all of the vertices must touch each other, but they should not intersect. So in this case, each of them are, length r, and the circle of radius r. So this much is r, and you know the number of chords also has to be r. So for that case, this will be 2r, the diameter. So diameter must be equal to 2 into r. So 2r in this case. And you know only a hexagon has its middle, which is a regular hexagon has a middle which is 2r if the sides are all r in length. So from that intuitively you know it will be a hexagon. For this sort of a sum, it's a very simple logarithm sum, and I strongly suggest that you try to do all sums of logarithms because they're high scoring in nature and easy concept. You can easily find x to the power 2a by 3y. So you can always individually find the terms in this sort of questions. So you know a by y into log 8 x is equal to 1. From property of logarithms, you know log 8 x whole to the power a by y equals to 1. That means x to the power a by y equals to nothing but 8. So x to the power 2a by 3y is equal to 8 to the power 2 by 3. So that is 4. Similarly, you can find for y to the power a by y, and you can solve it, and the final answer will come out to be 12. Okay, so for this sort of sum, it is a little recursive in nature. If you're good with this sort of sums and you can understand how to go about approaching it, definitely it's a very good thing and you should attempt this. But for a lot of people, it's a little troublesome, so they often choose to ignore or omit this sort of sums in the actual question exam paper. So f to the power 4 1 is nothing but f of f of f of f of 1. Now f of 1 is nothing but 1 into 2 2. Now this is essentially f of 2, f of 2, f of this. So f of 2 you need to find, that is 2 into 3, that is 6. F of, so this is nothing but f of 6, so that is nothing but f of 6 is nothing but 6 into 7, that is 42. So you get f of 42 as the final thing, which is 42 into 43, which is 1806. So as you can see, it's quite a quick sum. It can be done very fast. So again, up to you whether you want to attempt it or not, and this is equal to f to the power 4 1. Okay, so series and summation, very scoring section. Practice your fundamentals very well in this section and you can do it really well. So S1 is nothing but so you can see the differences are increasing in nature. For S2 it is constant at 3, so S2 you can get 3a where a equals to 1, 2, 3 like this up for 200 terms, right? Now for S1 you need to find the equation. So if you find the equation, then you can just simply check how many terms are common here and how many terms are common here by seeing the LCM of the two. Basically, let's say every fourth term here is equal to the every third term here. That means basically every fourth term here is, suppose, I mean, I'm not saying that this is true of this case, we're not solving that, but the strategy will be to figure out that. So as you can see in this sort of a sum, it's easy to do it if you can if you have your fundamentals right in series and summation. So as you can see, the terms in series 1 are given by the general equation n into n plus 1 by 2, while for that in series 2 is given by 3n, right? So second, third, fifth and sixth terms are common with S2. The last term of S2 is 600, simply because 200 into 3 is 600. Now to find the maximum value of n, for which Tn is less than equal to 600. So n equals to 34. Hence the number of terms common will be 22, because only the terms here which are in the form of 3k, basically multiples of 3 in this S1, can count in S2. So because of that it will be 22. So it's a pretty simple sum. Okay, so for this sort of a sum, matrices, they don't give very difficult sums of matrices, so it's pretty easy to solve. If you want to, you can quickly do it. In this case, A into adjoint of A is equal to A into AT. So 5A plus B equals to how much they're asking for. So you get adjoint of A equals to AT. Now A transpose is nothing but 5A3 minus B2, that is equal to adjoint of A, that is nothing but 2B minus 3 5A. Now you can easily solve this sum and you can get your answer. So B comes out to be 3 and 5A comes out to be 2. So the answer comes out to be 3 plus 2 5, as you can see here. So for this sort of sum, you know that sec and tan have a relation, right? Sec square theta is nothing but 1 plus tan square theta. So in this sort of sums, easy heuristic you should apply is, okay, so 4 sec theta minus tan theta can be squared, or rather I'm saying the wrong thing. For finding the value of this, you square 5 sec theta minus 4 tan theta, this whole square equals to 9. You solve the equation and you will get a value of sec theta or tan theta, from which you can derive the value of the other one, alternative one. So if you find the value of sec theta, you will find the value of tan theta, and if you find the value of tan theta, you will find the value of sec theta. And after that, it's a simple matter of multiplying 4 into sec theta minus 5 into tan theta and writing the solution. So as you can see, they have done it like this in this case. So yeah, that is something. This is a simple case of using a formula. Find the minimum distance. So again, you should know why the formula holds, but yeah, it's a very simple question at heart. For this, what you need to do is you have to complete the square, and you get it as x minus 3 square plus y minus 2 square equals to 1. So if hk be a point on this curve, then h minus 3 square plus k minus 2 square equals to 1, and h minus 3 square equals to 1 plus k minus 2 square. So from this you can just simply hk and 3,2, because distance from 3,2 is the minimum distance you have to find. This you find in terms of 2k minus 2 square. Minimum is when k equals to 2, because this will be an increasing function otherwise. So for k greater than 2, and yeah, so at k equals to 2 you reach the lowest value and the minimum distance will be 1. So this is a simple case of interest. After 2 years, he earned rupees 354. 1/4 of the amount invested in S1 is equal to 1/5 of the amount invested in S2. Calculate the total money the man invested in securities. Simple case of ratio proportion twinged with a bit of interest. So let the sums be x and y. So R1 equals to 6, R2 equals to 7, and T equals to 2. So simply by doing this calculation and finding out that since it's simple interest, it's quite easy. You just find out this, and that is equal to 354. Then you just find the equation by solving the simultaneous equation, and you get the values of x and y, and from that you just sum up x and y and get 2700 as the answer. So A and B are going for a morning walk. There's a tree after every kilometer. They decide to stop only if they meet under a tree. A covers the first, third and fifth etc. kilometers in 4 minutes and the second, fourth, sixth etc. kilometer in 3 minutes. B covers first, third, fifth etc. in 2 minutes and even numbered kilometers in 6 minutes. After how many minutes do they stop? It's a so time taken to cover the first kilometer for A is 4 because first is 4 minutes they have said, and for B it is 2 minutes because B covers the first in 2 minutes and all of that. Time to cover the second one is 7 and 8. Time to cover 5th kilometer on the same way is equal to 18 minutes and 16 minutes. So both of them cover 5 kilometers in 18 minutes. So they stop after 5 kilometers and 18 minutes. So it's a pretty easy sum. You should try to aim and look out for this sort of sums. So yeah. So these are classic number theory sums and these tend to get a little complicated. So you can choose to skip it. I would personally skip it. So I'm not going into this. You can just look at the solution and it's pretty self-explanatory in nature. Last 2 digits, again this sort of sums are a little problematic when there are last 2 digits involved with a little bit of a weird looking number. 637 is not a very conducive number for this sort of sum. So last 2 digits are the last 2 digits of 37 because 600 to the power that plus that will happen. So you don't want to impact the last 2 digits. So 37 last 2 digits of 498 are the last 2 digits of 37 to the power 18. 37 squares last 2 digits 37 square whole square will give 37 to the power 4 last 2 digits, which is 61. That to the power 8 will give 21. That to the power 2 will give 41 and like that. Then you multiply this with 81 and you with 69 because 37 square and you get 29, so it will be 29. But I generally myself at a very personal level tend to skip these questions. If AC is a perfect square number and n has distinct digits, then what is the sum of all possible distinct values of the units digit of n? I would again choose to ignore this sort of questions and skip because there seems to be some ambiguity. I'm not sure what n is. So if there is a question in the paper like this, better to skip it if you're not completely sure. However, if you feel that okay, there is some indication as to what n is, then definitely go ahead and solve it. If there is a mistake in the question, everybody is graded equally, so everybody will be given marks. So you don't stand to lose out from that sort of a practice either. So question number 17 says that the average of 36 numbers is 25. A new average is found after including some numbers from the set. The minimum number of numbers to be included in the order for the new average to exceed 30. So average should be more. So now 36 numbers, average is 25. So you immediately know 36 into 25 is 900. So the sum of the 36 numbers is 900. And you include some numbers from the set 30, 31, 32, 33, 35. Minimum numbers to be included to exceed 30. So as you can see, if the new average is 30, the negative deviation 36, 30 minus 25, current is 25 and you want it to be 30 and there are total 36 numbers, that's 180. So each of the included numbers is at least 30. There will be no negative deviation due to any of these numbers as the new average must exceed 30. The included number must offset the negative deviation of 180. So you add those plus 180 and you get it. So the elements of the number of must be minimum. So the element 65 of the set has the greatest positive deviation. So you get 35, then 30, 4, then like that, and total such numbers are coming to be 6 as shown by this question. In a school, the number of students in section ABC are in 7:3 ratio. If 10 students from section A are shifted to section B, then the ratio of the students in section A and that would be reversed. What is the total number of students? These are simple case of ratio and proportion. Ratio and proportion. So in this sort of question, it's always wise to quickly frame a equation and solve it. So 8x and 10 people are leaving. 8x minus 10 and 7x is gaining 10, so that is becoming 7 by 8. So you simply do it and you get total to be 180. The volume of a certain type of cylinder varies as the square of its base radius. The volume varies of a certain type varies as the square of its base radius. So r square. So from this, V equals to k r square. Like this, you have to solve it. So if A and B are two cylinders of that type, the radius 14 and 7390, 1848. So it's quite simple. 7392 by 14 into 14 is 7392 by 196. That will be equal to 1848 by r square. So r you get to be 7. Again, so for the 19 sum, I think it's a very, very easy sum, ratio proportion sums. Generally, a good rule of thumb is to attempt all arithmetic type sums because they tend to be easy typically. Matrix sums are very safe bets. But yeah, let's just finish the paper and then we'll discuss more about this in detail. So fx is minimum of 3x plus 4 or 4x plus 5 for minus 3, x between minus 3 to 5. Find the sum of the maximum and minimum possible values of fx. So let's see how they have done it. So fx is minimum of 3x plus 4 and 4x plus 5. Case 1. So in this sort of cases, you take two cases and try to find out in which range one equation is bigger than the other. And then you try to find out. So for x less than equal to minus 1, 3x plus 4 is greater than 4x plus 5. And for x greater than equal to minus 1, greater than minus 1, you get 3x plus 4 less than equal to 4x plus 5. So you get, so this is basically the inequality equation. Maximum value of fx is at x equals to 5. So in that case, you get 19 and 25. So 19 will come as the answer. And in the other case, x equals to minus 3, we get minus 5 and minus 7. So you get minus 7. So required sum is 19 minus 7, that is 12. So yeah, this is also a pretty basic question and you can target this sort of sums. So generally to sum up whatever we have done in the paper so far, I think the list of priorities that I would give to any sort of sums from any particular category would be to do the arithmetic sums first because they tend to be easier to approach, easier to solve if you have your basics right, if you have your concepts right. But again, that's anyway true of any concept. Followed by matrices, logarithms, all of those sort of topics. Those are pretty easy topics to score on. So those topics also you should target. I think a great topic that you can score on is geometry if you are really good at it. And I think the more difficult topics are functional equations, which can get complicated at times. There can be difficult bits of trigonometry. There can be more difficult sums of geometry, which can be time consuming. Number theory can be really difficult at times. So again, make a judgment based on what are your strong points, what are your weak points, which can again, you can assess it yourself by giving mocks and practicing the sums from those particular domain and understanding where are your weak points and where are your strong points. So yeah, that was roughly about the essay section. All the best for the exam.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the quantitative ability section of MCQ questions. So the first question is, in this figure, O is the center of the circle. Now we need to find the area of the shaded region. I think this is an easy question, requires a bit of calculation. So first we need to find the area of this part of the circle, which is nothing but the area of 1/4 of the bigger circle minus the area of 1/4 of the shorter circle, smaller circle. This will provide us this particular area, and this whole area that we need to calculate can be calculated by dividing it further into two parts, which is this area and this area. So this area can again be calculated by, we can take this whole square. We have got this dimension. We can calculate the area of this total square, and we can subtract the area of 1/4 of the bigger circle, and this will provide us the area of this part. And I think the area below it is nothing but just a rectangle whose length and width are provided to us, and we can calculate the area of this thing. So I think it was an easy question, just required a little bit of calculation. All the values are given to us. We just need to divide the required area into different parts and solve them, and no particular difficult formula is required in this question. I think we can move on to the next question. The next question says that a contractor agrees to plow a field in 36 days. He employs 6 pairs of bullocks which work 10 hours daily, but after 20 days, only 3/5 of the field is plowed. If a tractor is used for plowing the remainder, how many hours a day must the tractor work to finish the plowing in the given time, supposing the tractor can do the work of 8 pairs of bullocks? It's a big question, I can understand, but it's not a difficult one. I think we can solve it easily. So let us first calculate the total work. So since the total number of days for which the 6 pairs of bullocks have worked at 20, we have the number of days as 20. We multiply it by the number of hours that they have put in, just 10. Again multiply it by number of the pairs of bullocks, that is 6. This is the 3/4 of the total field, which means the total work that has to be done is 5/3 of this work done, which we don't need to calculate as of now. Now this work has already been done. Now this work is the total work that needs to be done. Now the remaining work is 2/5 of the total work. So we can multiply this work by 2 into 2/5. So now this thing has to be, this whole work has to be done by 8 pairs of bullocks, and the remaining number of days is 16, because 20 days are already done and total number of days are 36. So we can divide it by 16, and since one tractor can do the work of 8 pairs of bullocks, we multiply it by 8, and this number n will provide us the number of hours that the tractor needs to put in to get the work done in the remaining number of days. Again, I think it was a fairly easy question. Doesn't require it required only easy calculations and nothing else. So I think we can move on to the next question. So the next question says, if Abdul plans to sell 2 varieties of sugar labeled cubes and granulates, so that both the sugars from a homogeneous mixture when mixed. He usually sells cubes at rupees 18 per kg and incurs a loss of 10%, which means the cost of cubes is rupees 20. And on selling granular for rupees 30 kg, he gains 20%, which means the cost of granular is 25 rupees per kg. I think this is a fairly simple calculation which can be done orally. How should he mix the dealer and cheap sugar type so as to achieve a profit of at least 25% on selling the mixture at rupees 27.5 per kg? So we need 25% profit on 27.5 per kg on selling the mixture at 27.5 per kg, which means that the cost of the mixture should be such that C into 5/4 is equal to 27.5, which gives us C as 22. Now the cost of this mixture is 22, and we need to find the ratio between the cheaper and the dearer and the cheaper sugar types. So the cubes are of rupees 20, the granular is of 25, and the mixture is of rupees 20. The cost of mixture is 22. It's the easiest way to solve these types of allegation questions is nothing but make this diagram. You do this thing, subtract this from this. I think yeah, and this will provide subtraction will provide us 3 and 2. This is the ratio in which we have to mix both the types of sugars. It can be 3:2 or 2:3 according to the requirement of the question. But this is the simplest way to solve these proportion questions or allocation questions, and which can provide answers in, I think, few 5 or 6 seconds if when we are provided with the quantity. And the quantity calculation was also very simple in this case. And I think now we can move on to the next question. Okay. So Ram started from P towards Q at 3 a.m. and Ravi started from Q towards P at 8 a.m. If they meet each other at 12 noon and later reach their destination simultaneously, at what time did A did, at what time at what AM time, I think there's some error in the question, reach Q. I think we can first calculate it. We can figure out what the question actually demands later on. It's either Ram or Ravi which needs to be calculated. So we can approach the question. So Ram has started from P. So Ram has traveled a total of 9 hours, while Ravi has traveled a total of 4 hours, since they both meet at 12 noon. So after that, both of them reach simultaneously, which means both of them take equal amount of time to reach their respective destinations. Let's say that is X. That amount of time is X. Now we know that Ram has the meeting point. Let's say this point is P. This point is, let's say, Q. This meeting point, Ram has already traveled this in 9 hours, while the same distance is traveled by Ravi in just X hours. So the ratio of the time is 9 by X, and this period of time is traveled by Ram in X hours, and this period of time is traveled by Ravi in 4 hours. So this is equal to X by 4, since the ratio of the time will be same as the speeds are equal. I think calculating this, we'll get X is equals to 6. So both of them will reach will reach their respective destination after 6 hours, which means the correct answer will be 6 p.m. Again, I think that was a fairly simple question. You need to figure out what the question is actually demanding. If we just write down these basic things like the number of hours they have already traveled and make the small diagrams, then I think there is not much required in this question. And we can move on to the next question now. Let's move on to the next question. It says that Himanshu, who wanted to try out his new car, started from his house at 9 a.m. and traveled at a uniform speed of 25 km per hour to reach a point A. From A, he traveled to another point B at a uniform speed of 30 km per hour. He then returned to A at a uniform speed of 60 km per hour, and from A, he returned to his house at a uniform speed of 100 km per hour and reached his house at 12 noon. What is the total distance traveled by Himanshu? So the total time he has taken is 9 to 12, that is 3 hours. Let's draw the diagram to get some perspective. Yeah. So let's say his house is there. From here he has traveled to A. From A he has traveled to B, and then from again B he has traveled to A, and from again from A he has traveled to H. During these times, between HA his speed was 25, then his speed was 30, that speed was 60, here his speed was 100. Now, since the distances here are same in these two cases, we know that the uniform speed, or the average speed when the distances are equal is nothing but 2 into x into y upon x plus y. You might be knowing this formula. If you do not know, then you can note this down. This is the formula for average speed when the distances are equal. So when in case of AB, the average speed is 2 into 30 into 60 divided by 90. So this gives us the value as 40. So the average speed in during this whole region, covering this whole region, was 40 kilometers per hour. And again, we can calculate it for HA, which will be 2 into 25 into 100 divided by 125, which is nothing but again 40. So this calculation provides us a conclusion that throughout this journey from HA to AB and then again from BA to AH, the average speed of the car is 40 kilometers per hour, which means throughout the 3 hour journey, his average speed is 40 kilometers per hour. Now, since throughout the journey, his average speed is 40 kilometers per hour, the total distance he has traveled is nothing but 40 into the number of total time, that is 3 hours. So the total distance traveled will be 40 into 3, that is 120. So the correct answer will be option B. Again, I think it required a bit of formation of the diagram, understanding the diagram, observing that the distances are equal, and then applying the average speed method and the formula. A slightly tricky question. If you do not remember or if you are not understanding, then you can skip it for once and bookmark the question. You can come back to it later on. So let's move on to the next question now. It says that 40 boys can construct a wall in 50 days, for which they are paid a total of 3,000. Okay. Now, if an identical wall is constructed by 80 boys with the help of a certain number of girls in 20 days, find the difference between the total amount received by all the 80 boys put together and that received by all the girls put together. Okay, so in these type of question, first try to observe the figures. Now, we know that the number of boys have doubled in both these cases. So 40 boys are constructing the wall in 50 days, and now 80 boys are employed, which means that the wall should be constructed in 25 days. Since the number of people have doubled, the time taken should be halved. So 25 days should be taken, but they're working only for 20 days, which means 4/5 of the work is done by 20 days by all the boys, because it's 20 by 25, 4 by 5. So 4/5 of the work has been done by 80 boys in those 20 days, which means the girls are doing 1/5 of the work. So for those 20 days, the 80 boys are doing 4/5 of the work, and the number of girls are doing 1/5 of the work. And the total amount that they are receiving is 30,000. So now we have to calculate the difference between the total amount received, which will be nothing but 4 by 5 minus 1 by 5 into 3,000, which is 3 by 5 into 3,000, that is nothing but 1,800. Again, I think it was a fairly simple question, just a slight bit of observation will do the purpose for you. Let's move on to the next question. In the year 1995, the average age of 5 brothers was 45 years. One of the brothers died in the year 2002 at the age of 40 years. Find the average age of the remaining 4 brothers in the year 2007. I think there's a slight error in the question. It's 2007. Okay. So in the year 1995, average age is 45. So in year 2002, since till then none of the brothers has died, the average should just increase by 7 years. The average is 52 years in 2002. But after the death of the brother, who was of age 40, the average age will change. So let's calculate that. So in 2002, average age was 52. So total age, the sum of the ages was 52 into, since the 5 brothers were there, it will be 260. And since one brother has died, the total average age at the age of 40, the total average sum of the ages will now be 260 minus 40, that is 220, which is for 4 brothers now, because one has died. So the sum of ages is 220. So the average age now in 2002 of the remaining 4 brothers will be 220 by 4, which is 55. Now 55 is the average age of the remaining 4 brothers in 2002. Now we need to calculate the average age in the year 2007 of the remaining 4 brothers, which will be nothing but 55 plus 5, since no brother has died now, and only the number of years have increased. So it will be nothing but 55 plus 5, that is 60 years. So the correct answer is option D, 60 years. Again, a very simple question, won't take more than 30 to 40 seconds once you get the question. I think averages questions are mostly easy, and they can be solved quickly. Yeah, obviously some tough questions might be there, but most of the times averages questions are easy and they can be solved in the first go. Let's move on to the next question. The relation between the following graphs is, so fx is nothing but the mirror image of gx, or gx is nothing but the mirror image of fx. And now if we just put in the values of minus x in place of x in the function g, it will give us nothing but the function fx, because when we replace the values of minus x, we'll just get the mirror image of the function gx, and which is nothing but fx. So g minus x is equal to fx, which is option B. But wait, don't jump in right into answering the question, because there's another option D which says more than one of these. So we also need to see the other options. Now, the option A, fx is equal to minus g of minus x, is definitely wrong, because g of minus x is providing us the mirror image of gx. But when we again take minus sign out of the function, we'll get the value gx again. That is, minus g of minus x will provide us the function of gx only, because the 2 times if we take the mirror image, we get the same function. But if we just put minus in front of gx, we'll again get fx, because we're just again taking the mirror image with the y-axis being the mirror of gx, which will again provide us nothing but the function fx. So both the options B and C are correct. Hence, the correct answer will be option D, that is more than one of these. So again, you should not jump into the answer just by seeing one option. See all the options, and since more than one of these is there, you should try to try to observe both the 3 other options, so that we don't give an incorrect answer. I think we can move on to the next question now. So this question says that given that A, B, C are in quantitative proportion and B, C, D are also in quantitative proportion, if B is to C is 2 is to 3, and all the numbers are positive integers, what is the minimum possible value of A plus B? I think there is some error in the question. It is the actual thing that is actual value that is asked is A plus D. Okay, so B is to C is 2 is to 3. And A, B and C are in quantitative proportion. So if B is 2x, C is 3x, then A will be 2 by 3 into 2x, that is 4x by 3. Since they have to be in quantitative proportion, then A needs to be 2 by 3. And the value of D will be 3 into 3 by 2x, 3x into 3 by 2, which will be 9x by 2. So now their common proportions will be A is to B is to C is to D is nothing but 4x by 3 to 3, let's move x since we are taking proportion, and 9 by 2. And we can multiply it by the LCM to get it in integer form, and we'll get when we multiply it by 6, we get 8 is to 12 is to 18 to 27. So these are the values of proportion. Now, since there is no common factor among these 4 numbers, because 8 is 2 to the power 3 and 27 is 3 to the power 3, and so there is no common factor among any 2 numbers, and we are asked the minimum values of a plus b. So since there are no common factors, the minimum value will be only when the constants in these cases is 1. So the x in all of these numbers is 1. Hence, the minimum value will be 8 into 1 plus 27 into 1, that is nothing but 35. Hence, the correct answer is option number D. I think it is a fairly easy question. You just need to know what a quantitative proportion means, and you just have to check if there is a common factor. Don't forget to check if there is a common factor, because in all the cases there might not be the case that there is no common factor among all these numbers. If there is a common factor, we first need to divide by that common factor and then add the two numbers. I think now we can move on to the next question. M is equal to 7k to the power 6 up to plus 21, and we are told divided by k minus 1. There's some error printing in the question. And if k is a positive integer, for how many values of k is m an integer? Okay, so m will be an integer when the numerator part, that the whole expression, is divisible by k minus 1. So for that to be divisible, the remainder when we divide that expression by k minus 1 should be 0. And I think if we use the remainder theorem in this case, and since k minus 1, we have k minus 1, we can multiply m by all the values of k by 1. So we'll get 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 21, which will provide us 13, 18, 22, 25, 27, 48. So the sum is 48. I think if you do not know how we calculate this, or you don't know the remainder theorem, I think you might be knowing now. Since we had k minus 1 in the denominator, we take this negative part, that is 1, and multiply all these factors to put the value of k is equals to 1 in this expression to get the remainder, and we got the remainder as 48. Now for m to be divisible by k minus 1, so sorry, the numerator expression to be divisible by k minus 1, this 48 should be a factor of k minus 1. So now we are nothing but required to calculate the number of factors of 48, since if any factor of 48 we can take the value of k minus 1. So the number of factors of 48 can be calculated as, we first prime factorize it, which will provide us the value 2 to the power 4 16 into 3 to the power 1. Again, if you don't know the number of how to calculate the number of factors in a faster manner, you can first prime factorize the number. We got 2 to the power 4 and 3 to the power 1, and just add 1 to both the powers, 4 plus 1, and take a product of them. 1 plus 1, that is 5 into 10. So total number of 10 values of k are possible, for which m is an integer. So again, this was not a difficult question if you know how to use remainder theorem and how to calculate the number of factors, because if you know this, then it's a matter of less than a minute to calculate the answer. Let's move on to the next question now. If 6 to the power log 5a minus 16 into 6 to the power log a5 is equal to 32, find the value of a. I think the best approach to answer this question will be to put the options. Since there is minus sign here, we can't play much with the powers, and hence solving this question will be a very cumbersome task. So my advice to you will be to use option in this case. Now let's see the question in a smarter manner. We have log 5a or log a with base 5. Now if we see, we are all provided with natural numbers everywhere, so it must be the case 99% of the times it must be the case that a should be a power of 5, so that we get this expression as a natural number. So there are only two options that have power of 5. That is option C and D. Let's put option C first. Now 6 to the power log 5 with base 5 will be 1. 6 minus 16 into 6 to the power log 5 with base 5 is again 1. This will be a negative number, we can rule out. And obviously we'll now get the answer as 25, but still we can check it. Now we are 6 to the power log 25 with base 5 will be 6 to the power 2 minus 16 into 6 to the power log 25 base 25 with 5. Base 25 is nothing but 5 square, and if you know this property that the power of the base can be taken out in the denominator, so it will provide us 36 minus 16 into 6 to the power, since the power of the base is 2, we can take it as 1 by 2 log 5 with 5. This is nothing but 1, so we got as 36 minus 16 to the power 1 by 2, which is nothing but 4. So 36 minus 36 minus 4 is nothing but 32. So I think we got the answer. RHS was nothing but 32 only, and hence the correct option was option number D, 25. So we just had needed to put in two values from the options, and we got the answer. Again, if you go on to solving this expression, then you might have a tough time and you might waste a lot of your time. But if you take the smarter approach of using the option, then I think it's not a difficult task. And I think there is a printing error in this question as well. This was not 6 to the power log 5 with base 5 square. Instead, it was 16 to the power log, and 6 was misprinted here. Now we can move on to the next question. It says that given that x lies between minus 3 and 5, y lies between minus 4 and 4, and z lies between minus 5 and 3, we need to find the maximum and minimum possible values of x, y, and z. So I think it's an easy question. Requires some little bit of permutations and combinations that we need to take. So for calculating the maximum values, obviously it needs to be positive, and secondly, there are two possible ways. Either we multiply two negative numbers and one positive number, or we multiply all the positive numbers. So we'll see how we can do that. Now in the first case, if the values of x, the positive number is higher, so we'll take 5 from that and not take the negative part. For y, the negative and positive part both are equal, so we'll take 4. And for z, the negative part is higher, but it is equal to x. So even if we take a negative part in both x and z, or the positive part in both x and z, because y is equal for both negative and positive, so it depends on x and z. But if we take the negative value from x and negative value from z, it will give the same answer as taking positive values from both x and z, as the maximum value of x is 5 and the minimum value of z is minus 5. So the maximum value of x, y, z will be nothing but 5 into 4 into 3, that is equal to 60. Now getting the minimum value, it requires either we multiply 1 negative and 2 positive, or we multiply all the negative numbers. Again, y does not create any issue here, as we'll be multiplying 4 or minus 4 from that side, from y, because as already mentioned, that the positive and negative numbers are same. For x and z, now since we are allowed to take two positive values, we can take 4 from y, we can take 5 from x, and we can also take minus 5 from z. So we are taking extreme values of all the three ranges and taking one negative number. So overall we get the highest possible multiple, and we are also getting the negative integers. So it is the minimum possible value of u, which is 5 into 5, 25, that is minus 100. So the answer will be none of these, as the maximum possible value is 60, but the minimum possible value is minus 100. I think that was an easy question, but again required a little bit of observation and making some combinations. Let's move on to the next question. This question says that a certain sum is invested at simple interest. If the sum becomes k times itself in 16 years, so it becomes k into p in 16 years, so p is the principal amount, and 2k times itself, 2kp in 40 years. In how many years will it become 4k times itself? So it is becoming 2k times itself in 40 years. And in this gap of 16 and 40, that is 24 years, it is earning an interest of 2kp minus kp. That is the amounts earned after 40 years and 16 years. The difference of both is the interest that has been earned in both these years, because it is a simple interest, and the only gain in a particular year is the interest earned, which is constant throughout the years. Hence, between in these 24 years, the difference in amount is caused only by the interest that it has received. So in 24 years, it is receiving an interest of k into p. So in 48 years, it will receive an interest of 2kp. Now, we have some values. We have some values. So it is becoming 2k times itself in 40 years, and it is earning an interest of 2k times itself, that is 2kp, in 48 years. So in 40 years, it is becoming 2k times p, plus to become 4k times p, it needs to add 2kp interest in the value of 2kp to get to become 4k times itself. That is 40 plus 48, 88 years. Okay, I'll repeat that thing again. It might be confusing for some. So in 40 years, it became 2k times itself in 40 years. And to become 4kp, it needs to earn how much more interest? It needs to earn an interest of 2k times p to become 4k times itself. The amount to become the amount of 4k times itself, that is 4kp, it needs to earn 2kp of interest after becoming 2k times itself. So after becoming 2k times itself, it needs to earn this much of interest. This amount is being converted in 40 years, and this interest is being earned in 48 years, which we'll calculate it here. Hence, the total number of years that is taken to become 4k times itself is nothing but the sum of these two values, that is 88 years. A bit tricky question, but if you understand it, might take some time to understand, but once you understand it, I think then the calculation is nothing. You can do it even orally if you are able to understand it. Might take some time to understand the question, but again, you can skip it for once if you are not comfortable understanding it, and you can come back to it later on. Let's move on to the next question. This question says that a natural number n is such that n lies between 120 and 240, and the HCF of n and 240 is 1. How many values of n are possible? Okay, so this requires the knowledge of a particular formula of calculating the number of co-primes. So essentially, the question is asking us, since the HCF of n and 240 is 1, this means that n and 240 are co-primes of each other. So it is asking to calculate the co-primes of 240 that lies between 120 and 240. So if you don't know, you should remember this formula, that the number of co-primes of a number n, which can be written as a to the power p, the prime factorization of it, a to the power p into b to the power q into c to the power r and so on, can is equal to the number of co-primes of this number less than n, less than itself, is nothing but n into 1 minus 1 upon a into 1 minus 1 upon 1 upon b into 1 minus 1 upon c. Now, the number of co-primes of 240 that are less than 240 are nothing but 240 into 1 minus 1 upon 2 into 1 minus 1 upon 3 into 1 minus 1 upon 5, 2, 3 and 5, because 240 is nothing but 2 to the power 4 into 3 to the power 1 into 5 to the power 1, hence the value of a, b and c here are 2, 3 and 5, and this value will give us the number of co-primes of 240 that are less than 240. But the question doesn't end here. We need to calculate those co-primes that are less than 240 but greater than 120. So we need to calculate the number of co-primes of 240 that are less than 120 as well. But that is an easy task because 120 is also 2 to the power 3 into 3 to the power 1 into 5 to the power 1. Hence the number of co-primes of 240 less than 120 will also don't have any different values of a, b and c. Hence we can calculate the number of co-primes of 240 less than 120 by calculating 120 into 1 minus 1 by 2 into 1 minus 1 by 3 into 1 minus 1 by 5. And this value will be nothing but the half of this value. And when we subtract these two values, we'll get the number of co-primes that are less than 240 but greater than 120. And hence we'll get the answer. Again, requires this formula, understanding of the question and some basic calculations. But the calculation and understanding is not a difficult part. And remembering of the formula is. So if you know this formula, you can go ahead solving this question in the first go itself. Now I think we can move on to the next question. The equation mx plus ny plus p is equals to 0, where 4m plus minus 5n plus 2p is equals to 0 represents a set of concurrent lines. Okay, if one of these lines passes through the origin, what is the equation of the line? Okay, so since one of these lines passes through the origin, the point x is equals to x comma y is equals to 0 comma 0, that is m into 0 plus n into 0 plus p is equals to 0. This provides us p is equals to 0. Now since p, this is because one of the lines of this equation passes through the origin. Now if p is equals to 0, we get 4m minus 5n is equals to 0 because 2p is 0 now, and m will be equal to 5n by 4. Now since m is equal to 5n by 4, we can put this in the given equation, that is 4mx plus ny plus p, and it will provide us five n by 4 into x plus ny is equals to 0, and common we get 5x plus 4y is equals to 0. This is the equation that we have got. What we did, nothing, just the equation, we took the equation, since one of them was passing through the origin, we put x and y equal to 0, we got the value of p. From there we got the relation between m and n, and through that we put that we put that m in the original equation, and from there we got the equation of the required line. Again, it was a very simple question, nothing as such was required. Let's move on to the next one. In a certain school, class X students are X% of the total strength of the school. If 10 students join class X, then class X students will become X plus 9% of the total strength of the school. Which of the following can be the initial total strength of the school? Assume that there is no change in the number of students in the other classes. Okay, so it might seem to be a very long question, but let's see if we can break this down into simpler problems. Okay, the class X students are X% of the total strength of the school. Let the total strength of the school be Y. Now, class X students will be then, it is X% of the total strength of the school, that is X into Y, X by 100 into Y. This is the number of students in class X. Number of students in class X. So, if 10 students join class X, which means XY by 100 plus 10, then the class X students will become X plus 9% of the total strength. That is X plus 9 upon 100 of the total strength. The new total strength will be Y plus 10, because the total students of the school will also increase by 10. And then we can solve this equation a little bit further. So if there was an error, it will be so now we have got the equation, that is 10x plus 9y is equals to 910. Now the best approach from here is to use the options. We know that xy by 100 should be an integer, which means x into y should be a multiple of 100. So now we can put on the options. First option is 91. We have to calculate the number of students in the total students of the school, that is the value of y. If y is 91, then definitely we are not getting such values of x into y, that is a multiple of 100, so we can discard this value. When we take y as 40, we are getting 9 into 40, that is 360, and the value of x will be 910 minus 360 upon 10, that is nothing but 550 by 10, that is 55. Yeah, so 55 is what we have got the value of x. Now 55 into 40 is a multiple of 100, definitely a multiple of 100. So this set of values of x and y provide us xy as a multiple of 100 as well, and it's obviously fits into the equation. Hence we can mark the option B as correct. You can check for further options as well to see and to reaffirm yourself if this is the correct answer, but using the best option, the best choice is using the options after you get the equation. Again, was a simple question. We can move on to the next question now. The ratio of ages of A and B are 12 years ago was 2:3, and the ratio of the ages of B and C 12 years from now will be 2:3. If the averages of A and C at present is 57 years, the ratio of B and C was or will be 1:2. We need to calculate when will it be 1:2. I think it's an easy question of ratios. We can use the elementary school operations here, like taking the ages of A and B 12 years ago as 2x and 3x. Then we can calculate the ratio of the ages of B and C by calculating 2x plus 24 divided by if C the current age of C is y, then the denominator will be y plus 12, and this ratio is 2/3. In this way we can calculate the values of x and y, because we have another equation that the average of A and C at present is 57 years. So we'll get two equations of x and y, and we can calculate the values of x and y respectively, which will provide us the current ages of B and C. Once we are provided with the current age of B and C, we can put on the options to see when is the ratio of the ages of B and C will be 1:2. I think there's nothing much required to be told here. No tricks as such, just the elementary school method we are using, and we'll get the answer. Not taken more than a minute. Let's move on to the next question. So it says that if y is equals to x upon 4x squared plus 15x plus 9 for all x greater than 0, what is the greatest value of y? So we can take y, since x is positive, we can take y and divide both the numerator and denominator by x. We'll get y is equals to 1 upon 4x plus 15 plus 9 by x. We did this so that we get a fixed value in the numerator, and now we just have to make changes in the denominator to get the maximum value of y. And this maximum value of y will be attained when the denominator, that is 4x plus 9 by x plus 15, will be minimum. Again, plus 15 is a fixed value here, so we can't do anything about that. Hence the equation boils down to minimizing 4x plus 9x. So minimizing 4x plus 9x, it can be done very easily by using the differentiation method. This is the fastest method to solve this thing, I think. We can just take 4 minus 9 by x square is equals to 0, which will provide x square is equals to 9 by 4, x is equals to plus minus 3 by 2, and since x is positive, we'll take the case of only 3 by 2. So at x is equals to 3 by 2, the denominator will be minimum. We can also check for the second derivative, which will be nothing but 18 by x cube, I think. Anyways, it will be positive. So since x is positive, so 18 by x cube, which is a positive value. Hence, the minimum will lie at 3 by 2 only. So now we can calculate the value of y at x is equal to 3 by 2, and that will provide us the greatest value of y. I think it was an easy question, just dividing by x. After that, we just need to calculate the minimum value of the minimum value of the denominator to get the maximum value of y. Easy one. Let's move on to the next question. In a triangle ABC, there are 5, 6, and 4 points different from the vertices A, B, and C on the sides AB, BC, and CA. So if this is the triangle A, B, C, there are 5 points on AB, 3, 4, 5, and there are 6 points on BC and 4 points on AC. Okay. So now we need to calculate how many distinct triangles can be formed using the 18 points, because 5 plus 6 plus 4 plus the 3 vertices A, B, C. So total number of points are 18. So first of all, again, this is an easy question. If you know, we can calculate the number of triangles using the combination formula. That is, there are 18 points and we need a combination of 3 points to form a triangle. So the number of triangles can be provided by this formula of 18C3. But this 18C3 will also include some combination of those 3 points which are lying on a line, let's say AB, BC, or CA. So then we'll subtract those number of triangles from the total number of triangles formed from 18 points. On AB, there are a total of 5 plus 2 vertices, that is 7 points. So 7C3 triangles. Minus on BC, there are a total of 8 points, so 8C3, and CA total of 4 plus 2, 6 points, plus 6C3. So this value will provide us the number of triangles that we are forming using those 18 points, which do not form a line. Of course, the triangles do not form a line. Hence, we are subtracting these values, and hence by calculating this, we'll get the answer. Again, an easy question. Just these 3-4 calculations are required, and then the subtraction part. We can move on to the next question now. This question says that let P be a set of all integers satisfying the inequality 5x square minus 47x plus 56 less than equal to 0. If an element from P is selected at random, what is the probability that it is even? So let us first calculate the range of values of P. So we'll factorize it. 5x square minus 47x plus 56. So I think it will be minus 40 minus 7x plus 56 less than equal to 0, as 7 into 40 is 280 and 56 into 5 is also equal to 280. Solving it further, we get 5x into x minus 8, and as 7 into x minus 8 less than equal to 0. So 5x minus 7 into x minus 8 is less than equal to 0. So to find the range of values of P, we can use the wavy curve method here. X is equal to 1.4 and x is equal to 8. About this, the values of P will be positive, then negative, and then positive. So since it has to be negative, the range of P will lie is between 1.4 and 8. And since P is a set of all integers, hence it can take the values of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, since these are the values, and we have to calculate what is the probability that P is even, it will be nothing but 1, 2, 3, and 4. In total are 7. It will be 4 by 7, and the correct answer will be option number B. Again, very easy question. Just factorizing of the quadratic form is required, and after that, nothing much is required in this question. Easy one, won't take more than a minute to solve.
Hi, so now I'll be starting with the 41st question, which is essentially the 21st question of the short answer MCQ part. So let's begin. In this question, it's visible that I have to take A, B, C in such a way that their multiplication is equal to 1, some power of their multiplication. So it's completely understandable that A, B, C must not be equal. For example, I can take A as 4, B as 16, and C as 8. Now, if I have P minus Q as 1, Q minus R as 1, and R minus P as minus 2, I'll be able to solve and find out that both the conditions A and B should not be true. So the answer to this question is none of the above. Let's see. Here it is. The answer is none of the above. Now we have the next question, which is quite simple. We just have to divide the external angle to the internal angle. Now we know that external angle is 360 by n and internal angle is 180 minus 360 by n. When we divide these two, we get that it's n upon n minus 2. And when we start to put values for n equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we realize that only for n equals to 1 and 3 and 4, we get this expression as an integer. तो हम सिर्फ ये दो ही वैल्यूज ले सकते हैं. इसके अलावा अगर मैं कुछ भी वैल्यू लेता हूँ तो वो इंटीजर नहीं आएगा, तो हम ये नहीं ले सकते. देखते हैं इसमें आंसर में क्या है. बिल्कुल यही आंसर. We have just divided these two and we have gotten the answer. Okay, next. What is the remainder when 7 to the power 115 is divided by 114? मैं यूजुअली ये क्वेश्चन स्किप करता हूँ बिकॉज ये मुझे बहुत टाइम कंज्यूमिंग लगता है. बिकॉज बहुत सारे इसमें एक्सप्रेशंस बन जाते हैं, थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग हो जाता है. तो ये फर्स्ट राउंड में मैं हमेशा स्किप कर देता हूँ. बाद में अगर टाइम मिलता है तो आई विल गेट बैक टू दिस. ओके. In a certain DVD shop with a stock of several thousand DVDs, for every successive DVD sold at discount offered, the mark price of that DVD decreases by half. If the shop offers 100% discount on the mark price of the first DVD sold and the mark price of second DVD is 17.29, the total discount offered on all the DVDs that the shop may sell is closest to the mark price of ओके. सो ये हमको कह रहा है कि मैंने जो हमारे मार्क प्राइसेस डिस्काउंट का वो लिया है वो धीरे धीरे डिक्रीज हो रहा है. तो पहले 100% दिया है, फिर मैंने कम करके वो मार्क प्राइस उसकी आ गई है 1729. तो अगर मैं सारे डिस्काउंट्स का सम करता हूँ तो ये मेरा एक ज्योमेट्रिक प्रोग्रेशन आ जाता है. और जो ये इसने पूछा द डीवीडी शॉप में सेल टू क्लोजेस्ट टू द मार्क प्राइस ऑफ, तो मैंने सारे डिस्काउंट का सम किया, ये मैंने ज्योमेट्रिक प्रोग्रेशन का फॉर्मूला लगाया तो मेरे पास 200 आ गया. 100 मेरे को गिवन है कि एक डीवीडी की उसकी हमने प्राइस मानी है, तो कितना हो गया हमारा मार्क प्राइस? 2 इंटू कॉस्ट. सिंपल आंसर इज 2 DVDs. ठीक है. 45th क्वेश्चन. इस क्वेश्चन में हम बहुत लॉजिकल अप्रोच लगाएंगे. इसका एल्जेब्रिक सोल्यूशन भी है, बट लॉजिकल अप्रोच से आपको एक डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग पता चलेगी. बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन में ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आपको क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करना है, आप गेस कर सकते हो. लॉजिकल इन्फॉर्म्ड एकेडमिक गेस कैसे? इस क्वेश्चन में इसने पूछा है दैट n इज अ लीस्ट नंबर which when divided by k plus 1, k plus 2 successively, where k is a natural number, leaves the remainder of k minus 1, k plus 1. ठीक है. Which of the following is not a possible value of n? तो इसको क्वेश्चन को देख के मुझे पता चल रहा है कि ये कह रहा है कि n में मैं कुछ नंबर मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा हूँ, फिर ऐड कर रहा हूँ, फिर मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा हूँ, फिर ऐड कर रहा हूँ, फिर मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा हूँ, फिर ऐड कर रहा हूँ, मतलब डिवाइड करके. तो ये बार बार 3 नेचुरल नंबर में कंटिन्यूसली मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा हूँ. अब मैं जो 4 ऑप्शन है अगर इसमें ध्यान देता हूँ तो 59 के आसपास में अगर मैं प्लस माइनस करता हूँ की कुछ भी वैल्यू रख के, तो जैसे 60 आ रहा है तो 60 में मैं बहुत नंबर बना सकता हूँ. 119 है, इसको मैंने 122 माना सपोज, चलो आगे पीछे करके, तो अगेन मैं इसमें बहुत कुछ मल्टीप्लाई कर सकता हूँ, डिवाइड कर सकता हूँ, बिकॉज ये प्राइम के बहुत वो है. अब 23 है, 23 में भी मैं 2 करता हूँ 25 हो जाता है, तो मेरे पास 5 फैक्टर आ गए. मेरे पास कम कर देता हूँ तो भी मेरे पास बहुत 20 में भी बहुत फैक्टर आ गए, तो ये भी. बट 11 जो है, 11 में मेरे पास बहुत नंबर ही नहीं है मल्टीप्लाई करने के लिए. 11 इतना छोटा नंबर है कि मैं अगर 3 कंटिन्यूस मल्टीप्लाई करता हूँ, 2 3 4 मैंने मल्टीप्लाई किया, बढ़ गया. ठीक है. अब क्या लग रहा है इसमें? कुछ नहीं, आंसर इसमें होगा 11. इसका एल्जेब्रिक सोल्यूशन भी देख लेते हैं. कुछ नहीं है, इन्होंने माना n इज अ लीस्ट पॉसिबल नंबर. इन्होंने जो ये सीरीज बनाई कि यू मल्टीप्लाई दिस इंटू दिस प्लस दिस इंटू दिस प्लस दिस, यही किया है यहाँ पे, दिस इंटू दिस प्लस दिस इंटू दिस प्लस दिस. ठीक है. ये पूरा आप एक्सप्रेशन सॉल्व करते हैं. ठीक है. नाउ n इज 1 लेस देन द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ k प्लस 1, k प्लस 2. ये इससे हमको समझ आता है. अब हम देखते हैं, अगर फॉलो करते हैं कि इनमें से सारे नंबर लिख सकते हैं इस तरीके से सिवाय 11 के, तो हमारा आंसर होगा 11 विद एल्जेब्रिक अप्रोच. ठीक है. हम चलते हैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की तरफ. इफ MAN इज इक्वल टू m टू द पावर ऑफ n माइनस 1 प्लस m इंटू n. ठीक है. अब इस क्वेश्चन का मतलब क्या हुआ, क्या कहना चाहता है? ये कह रहा है कि अगर मैंने कभी लिख रखा है कि MAN, तो इसका मतलब है मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि इस एक्सप्रेशन का मतलब है ये प्लस MN. जैसे अब मैंने माना 2A3, तो ये मैं लिख रहा हूँ 2 टू द पावर ऑफ 3 माइनस 1 प्लस 2 इंटू 3. इस एक्सप्रेशन का ये मतलब है. अब ये कह रहा है मुझे मतलब बताओ 4A5 A6 का यूनिट डिजिट बताओ, मतलब भी नहीं. ठीक है जी, बिल्कुल कर देते हैं. तो ये हम कर देंगे 4 टू द पावर ऑफ 5 माइनस 1 प्लस 4 इंटू 5. 4 इंटू पावर ऑफ 4 कितना हुआ? 16 इंटू 16. लास्ट डिजिट क्या आ रही है? ये 6. बिकॉज 6 को हम कितनी भी उससे 6 से मल्टीप्लाई करते हैं तो वो तो हमेशा 36 हो गया. इसमें लास्ट डिजिट आ गया 20, तो हमारी यूनिट डिजिट हो गई 6 इस वाले एक्सप्रेशन से. तो हमें पता चल गया कि यहाँ पे जो यूनिट डिजिट होगी वो होगी 6. ठीक है. अब ये मान लेते हैं हम कुछ भी डैश डैश 6 a टू द पावर ऑफ अगेन 6. अब अगर हम देखते हैं एक्सप्रेशन, ये एक्सप्रेशन जो बन रहा है हमारा ये वाला, when m is some form 6 and m into n is some form 6 into into 6. ठीक है. इसमें अगेन ये 6 to the power 6 minus 1 होगा, ठीक है। अब अगर आप इस पर नोटिस करेंगे तो ये वैल्यू का यूनिट हमेशा 6 होगा, बिकॉज 6 to the power कुछ भी हमेशा आपको यूनिट डिजिट पे 6 देता है, और 6 into 6 36, ये भी हमेशा 6 देता है। अब ये हमको बोला ऐड करने के लिए, ऐड करेंगे तो 6 और 6 हो गया 12, तो यूनिट डिजिट पे हमारा आ गया 2, तो इसका आंसर होना चाहिए 2, ठीक। चलिए नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की तरफ चलते हैं। विच टर्म इज इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ एक्स इन द एक्सपेंशन ऑफ दिस। अब इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ एक्स का मतलब क्या होता है? इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ एक्स का कुछ मतलब नहीं है, इसका मतलब है एक्स टू द पावर 0। एक्स टू द पावर 0 कैसे करेंगे? हम इसका बायनॉमियल एक्सपेंशन जो लेंगे, सपोज ये है एक्स प्लस वाई टू द पावर n, तो एन सी आर एक्स टू द पावर n माइनस आर वाई टू द पावर r, ऐसे मान लेते हैं। इसको हम रिप्लेस कर देंगे एग्जाम्पल में, तो हमको क्या करना है कि इस वाले में ये है एक्स स्क्वायर टू द पावर n माइनस आर, इसको हम r मान लेते हैं, एक्सप्रेशन को हम आगे पीछे कर सकते हैं, और ये है 3 बाई एक्स टू द पावर ऑफ n माइनस आर, तो मतलब हमको x की पावर 2r इक्वेट करना है x टू द पावर माइनस ऑफ n माइनस आर, ठीक है। तो जब मैं इसको सॉल्व करता हूँ n की वैल्यू पुट करके, तो मेरे पास आता है r इक्वल्स टू 5, मतलब कि ये हमारा 11th टर्म होगा। इसको थोड़ा सोचिए, आप जब इसको कैलकुलेट करेंगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि 11th टर्म पे हमारा x से इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाता है ये, देखिए हमारा r आ गया 10, जो r माइनस होता है, दोनों ही बातें सही रहती हैं, और ये हो गया हमारा 11th टर्म। यहाँ सॉल्व करके आप ले सकते। एक सेट है जिसमें है 2 4 6 8 10 12, और बी है जिस उस सेट का पार्ट जिसकी वैल्यूज हैं 22 24 26। तो ए एक्स स्क्वायर प्लस बी एक्स प्लस सी फॉर्म की जो इक्वेशन है, वो कितनी इक्वेशन पॉसिबल है जिनमें रूट्स रियल हैं कि सिंपल कंडीशन है दैट बी स्क्वायर माइनस 4ac इज ग्रेटर देन इक्वल्स टू 0, तो बी स्क्वायर इज ग्रेटर देन इक्वल्स टू 4ac। अब ए सी का हमको पता है कि पॉसिबल वैल्यूज हैं 6, तो ए इंटू सी की पॉसिबल वैल्यूज हो गई 6 इंटू 6। हमको पता है कि बी की पॉसिबल वैल्यूज हैं 3, तो टोटल पॉसिबल केसेस हो गए हमारे 6 इंटू 6 इंटू 3, जो कि होते हैं 108, ठीक है। अब हमको देखना है कि बी स्क्वायर हमेशा बड़ा होना चाहिए 4ac से, ठीक है। 4ac की मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल वैल्यू हमारे पास आ सकती है 12 इंटू 12 इंटू 4, ठीक है। इस केस में हमारी जो वैल्यू आएगी वो बड़ी आएगी 22 स्क्वायर से, तो ये कंडीशन फॉल्स हो जाएगी। तो सिर्फ एक केस ऐसा रहेगा जिसमें ये कंडीशन फॉल्स हो जाती है, तो हमारा आंसर हो गया कि 108 में से एक केस गया। बाकी जितनी भी कंडीशंस होंगी सब में हमेशा ये कंडीशन ट्रू रहेगी। आप चाहे तो थोड़ा टेस्ट कर सकते हैं, चेक कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि 26 का स्क्वायर, 24 का स्क्वायर, 22 का स्क्वायर, ये सारे बहुत बड़े नंबर्स हैं, और सिर्फ 12 इंटू 12 इंटू 4 ही इनसे बड़ा होता है। तो आप देख सकते हैं कि आंसर इसका होना चाहिए 107। देखते हैं इसका आंसर क्या है। इसका आंसर है 107, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की ओर चलते हैं। इफ एक्स क्यूब माइनस 3x स्क्वायर प्लस 4 अपॉन एक्स स्क्वायर माइनस 1 इज ग्रेटर देन x प्लस 5, then find the maximum possible value of x where x is real, ठीक है। इस क्वेश्चन की अप्रोच क्या है? सिंपल अप्रोच है, आप x वाले सारे टर्म एक तरफ लेके जाएंगे, आप उनको एल्जेब्रिकली सॉल्व करेंगे और इसको एक मिनिमम एक्सप्रेशन में लाने की कोशिश करेंगे। जब वो इस मिनिमम एक्सप्रेशन में आ जाएगा, तब आप हमारा नंबर लाइन बना के उस पर कर्व बना के आप देख लेंगे कि क्या मैक्सिमम वैल्यू है, क्या मिनिमम वैल्यू है। तो देखते हैं इसका सोल्यूशन। जैसा कि मैंने कहा, इस पे आपने x वाले टर्म को एक तरफ लेके आए, आपने इसको सॉल्व किया मल्टीप्लाई करके, ये टर्म आपने इसमें मल्टीप्लाई किया और फिर सॉल्व किया, ये आपका एक एक्सप्रेशन आया। -1 मल्टीप्लाई किया इस एक्सप्रेशन में ताकि वो लेस देन 0 हो जाए और ये माइनस हट जाए। जब आप इस एक्सप्रेशन को सॉल्व करेंगे तो देखते हैं ये परफेक्ट स्क्वायर के फॉर्म में नहीं है, फैक्टर्स के फॉर्म में है। फैक्टर्स के फॉर्म में आपने लाया, इसमें देखा आपने x प्लस 1 कट गया, अब बचा x माइनस 1 8x माइनस 9। इसका आपने ग्राफ बनाया, इसको आपने लाइन वन पे जब रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे और देखेंगे तो सिर्फ ये वाला रीजन ट्रू आ रहा है, ये वाला रीजन ट्रू आ रहा है, तो मतलब मैक्सिमम वैल्यू जो होगी वो होगी 9/8। ये क्वेश्चन करने का ये तरीका, बहुत ही स्टैंडर्ड क्वेश्चन है, ये काफ़ी बार आया है और मुझे उम्मीद है कि काफ़ी बार आगे भी आएगा, तो ये क्वेश्चन ज़रूर करिएगा। अगला क्वेश्चन, अगले क्वेश्चन में पूछा गया है कि इफ़ एफ एक्स इज f of 1x equals to 1 upon 2x, similarly f of nx equals to f of n minus 1x, then f of 5a plus f of 10a क्या होगा? ठीक है, तो ये है रिकर्सिव एक्सप्रेशंस। रिकर्सिव एक्सप्रेशन मतलब जो आपस में ही खुद ही से मल्टीप्लाई हो रहे हैं। तो इसमें अगर हम 2-3 बार कैलकुलेट करेंगे तो हम देखते हैं कि ये वैल्यूज़ रिपीट होना चालू हो रही हैं, कि जब एफ ऑफ 2x निकालते हैं तो वो x आ रहा है, एफ ऑफ 3x निकालते हैं तो वो 1/2x आ रहा है, एफ ऑफ 4x निकालेंगे तो वो अगेन x आएगा। तो वैल्यू ऑफ एफ ऑफ एन एक्स, इफ n इज ऑड इज 1/2x, और इफ x इज n इज इवन इट्स x। तो हमको बताना है 5 और 10 का कितना है, तो एक ऑड है एक इवन है, तो 1/2x प्लस x की वैल्यू है 1, तो 1/2 प्लस 1 इज 3/2। तो आंसर बी इज 3/2। ठीक है, अगला क्वेश्चन, इफ एफ ऑफ एक्स इक्वल्स टू 5x minus 3x square minus 3, where -1 less than equals to x is less than equals to -1 and greater than -1 and less than 0, then find the maximum possible value of fx। ठीक है, इस क्वेश्चन में प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि हमको x की रेंज गिवन है। तो यूजुअली हम कोशिश करते हैं कि ऐसा कुछ एक्सप्रेशन बनाएं कि जो x वाला पार्ट है वो स्क्वायर्ड हो और उसका जो मैक्सिमम है वो इस रेंज में लाई करे। ये क्वेश्चन थोड़े से डिफिकल्ट साइड पर रहते हैं, टाइम कंज्यूमिंग होते हैं, थॉट ज़्यादा देना पड़ता है, तो इसको मैं स्किप चूज करता हूँ। तो इसको हम अभी स्किप करते हैं। एंड इन ईच टर्म इज इक्वल टू ट्वाइस द सम ऑफ द टर्म्स दैट फॉलो, मतलब जो हर टर्म है वो जो उसके पीछे टर्म है उनका डबल है, उनके सम का डबल। तो इंटायर प्रोग्रेशन का सम क्या हुआ? बहुत ही सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, बेसिक, सिर्फ और सिर्फ ज्योमेट्रिक प्रोग्रेशन के फॉर्मूला लगेंगे इसमें। ए को हमने पहला टर्म माना, आर कॉमन रेशियो माना, ए हमारा ए प्लस ए आर है 12, T1 T2 भी द टर्म्स ऑफ द जीपी, तो T1 आ गया ट्वाइस ऑफ उसके पुराने टर्म्स। इस एक्सप्रेशन को सॉल्व करेंगे तो हमारा आया 2 इंटू ए आर प्लस ए आर स्क्वायर प्लस ये, इस एक्सप्रेशन को सॉल्व करते हैं हमारा आर आ जाता है 1/3। आर 1/3 को हमने वैल्यू में पुट किया तो हमारी ए की वैल्यू आ जाती है 9, ए की वैल्यू 9 आ जाती है, तो हम देखते हैं कि पूरे उसका सम आ गया 27/2। स्टैंडर्ड क्वेश्चन है, आने के बहुत चांसेस, ज़रूर इस क्वेश्चन को देखिएगा ध्यान से। हाँ, अगला क्वेश्चन, देन व्हाट इज द फॉलोइंग इज ट्रू इफ ई इज 3x स्क्वायर प्लस 8x प्लस 5। ठीक है, अब आप अगर ध्यान से देखें कि इस एक्सप्रेशन की मैक्सिमम वैल्यू कभी नेगेटिव तो नहीं जानी चाहिए। आप x बहुत बड़ा मान लीजिए, x आप मान लीजिए 5, बहुत बड़ा भी नहीं है, तो 25 इंटू 3 75, 5 इंटू 5 8 इंटू 5 40 प्लस 5, तो ये मैक्सिमम वाले जो हैं दोनों ये तो गलत हो गए। अब हम देखते हैं कि मिनिमम में क्या है। मिनिमम का सिंपल फॉर्मूला होता है कि d अपॉन, मिनिमम का फॉर्मूला हमारे पास है कि मिनिमम स्लैश मैक्स ऑफ अ फंक्शन इज माइनस डी अपॉन 4 है, तो बी स्क्वायर माइनस 4ac अपॉन 4 है। इसमें से आप वैल्यूज पुट करेंगे तो आपको आंसर पता चल जाएगा कि आंसर होगा 1/3। तो 1/3 इज द मिनिमम ऑफ दिस गिवन एक्सप्रेशन। तो ये क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे खत्म हो जाता है, सिंपल 1 मिनट का क्वेश्चन है, कोई इसमें वो नहीं है। अब चलते हैं क्वेश्चन 54 की तरफ। 54 क्वेश्चन में बोलता है कि अ फॉरेन टूरिस्ट परचेसेस अ बाइक फॉर 2000 विद अ ट्रैवलर्स चेक ऑफ 3000, मतलब उसने 3000 रुपये का चेक दिया और 2000 रुपये की बाइक खरीदी। द बाइक डीलर गॉट टू द बिग शॉप नेक्स्ट डोर टू इनकैश द चेक फॉर हिम एंड द फॉरेनर हैविंग रिसीव्ड 1000 रोड ऑफ। उसने 3000 का चेक दिया, 2000 की बाइक खरीदी, तो वो चला गया, 1000 रुपये उसे मिल गया, वो चला गया, पता नहीं कहाँ गया वो, आपको मिल थोड़ी सकता है, नेवर टू बी सीन अगेन। लेटर द चेक वॉज फाउंड टू बी फोर्ज्ड एंड हेंस वर्थलेस। बाद में वो बिग शॉप ओनर को पता चला कि वो तो चेक नकली है, उसकी कोई वैल्यू ही नहीं है, तो जो बाइक डीलर था उसको बिग शॉप वाले को देना पड़ा जो अमाउंट था। तो अब डीलर को खुद को बाइक 1000 रुपये की पड़ी और 1000 रुपये उसने एक्स्ट्रा उसको दिए चेक वाले को, क्योंकि 2000 रुपये तो उसके कैश के चेक में आ गए थे, तो कितना उसका नुकसान हुआ, इसने ये पूछा है। तो इसमें आप देखो तो 2,000 रुपये की बाइक थी, 1,000 रुपये की उसको पड़ी, 1,000 रुपये उसने उसको कैश दिया, 1,000 रुपये का कैश का फुल नुकसान, और 1,000 रुपये जो उसके बाइक को उसको नहीं मिले वो पूरा नुकसान, तो उसका टोटल नुकसान होगा 2,000 रुपये का। इफ़ वी सी द क्वेश्चन दैट द होल 3 स्टेक होल्डर मतलब कितने उसमें डिफरेंट एंटिटीज़ हैं, कितने लोग हैं जो इन्वॉल्व हैं, तो फॉरेन टूरिस्ट, बाइक डीलर और बिग शॉप ओनर जो नेक्स्ट है। द बिग शॉप ओनर डिड नॉट लूज और गेन, उसको कोई फ़ायदा नहीं हुआ, नुकसान। उसके बाद नकली चेक आया, उसने वापस कर दिया वो नकली चेक। फॉरेनर को 2,000 रुपये की वो जो बाइक लेके, वो 1,000 रुपये की बाइक लेके भागा और वो 1,000 रुपये कैश लेके भागा, वो हट गया, तो टोटल अमाउंट जो लॉस हुआ उधर गेन हुआ, तो 2,000 रुपये लॉस हुआ। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, X can be filled in an inlet pipe cross section 10 mm. Another tank twice as big is filled by 3 inlet pipes and diameters are in the ratio 1, 2, 3. If the smallest pipe among these in 4 times as much in cross section as the inlet pipe of tank X, find the time taken to fill the second tank. ठीक है, इसका क्वेश्चन का मतलब क्या है? एक टैंक है X, एक टैंक है एक टैंक हमारे पास है X, एक है टैंक हमारे पास ट्वाइस एज बिग, तो 2x। अब इसमें हमारे पास है सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक इनलेट पाइप 10 mm, इसमें हमारे पास एक इनलेट पाइप है, इसमें हमारे पास 3 इनलेट पाइप हैं जो रेशियो में हैं, जिनका डायमीटर 1, 2 और 3। ये हमारा क्वेश्चन कह रहा है। अब ये पूछ रहा है कि इफ द स्मॉलेस्ट पाइप अमंग दीज 4 is 4 times as much as in cross section as the inlet pipe of X, find the time taken to fill the second tank. Speed of the water is half of the speed of the water in the first tank. तो इसने बता दिया स्पीड हाफ है, जो इसका सेकेंड 2x वाले का स्मॉलेस्ट है वो इसका 4 टाइम्स है, वो ये भी पता चल गया। रेशियोज में हमारा सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, and the ratio of 3 diameters is इतना, तो क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरियाज, बिकॉज एरिया, ये दोबारा से हमको सिलेक्ट करना पड़ेगा, हमारा एरिया इक्वल्स टू पाई आर स्क्वायर, आर हमारा होता है d/2, तो d/2 स्क्वायर। तो अगर हमारे डीज 1, 2, 3 में है तो हमारे एरियाज जो होंगे उनका रेशियो होगा 1, 4 और 9। तो ये बताता है हमको। सपोज द क्रॉस सेक्शन एरिया ऑफ द इनलेट पाइप ऑफ द फर्स्ट टैंक इज A, तो उसने बोला पहले का हमने अज्यूम कर लिया कि एरिया K है, कुछ भी अज्यूम कर सकते हैं हम। देन क्रॉस सेक्शन ऑफ द सेकेंड पाइप जो दूसरा वाला टैंक है उनके क्या होंगे 4K, 16K, 36K, क्योंकि वो फर्स्ट वाले का 4 टाइम्स है स्मॉलेस्ट। तो टोटल क्रॉस सेक्शन एरिया के लिए हम ऐड कर देंगे 56K। अब उसने पूछा टाइम कितना लगेगा, तो सिंपली हम 10 मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे इनटू select pen, yeah. तो इसमें there seems to be some issue. I have some idea, there seems to be some issue. तो इसमें हम कुछ नहीं, हम बस 10 मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे, टोटल हमारा जो वो है K अपॉन 56K से इंटू 2, तो हमारा टोटल टाइम टेकन हो गया 5/7 मिनट्स। ठीक है, ये क्वेश्चन, इस क्वेश्चन में एक सिंपल सी वो है, आपको ये टेबल बस समझ आनी चाहिए। ये टेबल हमको क्या बता रही है, बात पढ़ते हैं। द फॉलोइंग टेबल गिव्स द डिटेल्स ऑफ एजेस एंड हाइट्स ऑफ द बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स अटेंडिंग अ बास्केटबॉल कैंप। ठीक है, हाइट इन सेंटीमीटर्स ऑफ ईच बॉय ईच गर्ल इज एन इंटीजर। ठीक, पहला हमको ये लिखा हुआ है एज ग्रुप बॉयज गर्ल्स, ठीक है, ए इज एज, ठीक है। अब ये 8 ये क्या है ये समझ नहीं आ रहा है, पढ़ते हैं। In the above table, the number mentioned outside the bracket, ये bracket के बाहर जो नंबर है, gives the number of boys in the age group and values mentioned inside the brackets give the minimum height, मतलब 120 minimum height, average height 130 average height, maximum height 150 maximum height। ठीक है, यहाँ पे एक एग्जाम्पल दे दिया। अब कुछ नहीं करना है, सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, इनको एक एक करके सॉल्व करना है। A team is selected from the boys in the camp whose age is 13 और बिलो, 13 और कम, मतलब 10 और 8, बॉयज़, मतलब ये वाले दो हमको ब्रैकेट्स देखने हैं। इफ ओनली बॉयज़ हु आर 140 सेंटीमीटर और मोर कैन बी सिलेक्टेड, द नंबर ऑफ बॉयज़ हु कैन बी सिलेक्टेड इज एट मोस्ट। ये पूछ रहा है एट मोस्ट कितने होंगे। अब हम देखते हैं, ये 10 लोग हैं, इसमें मिनिमम हाइट है 130, तो मिनिमम 130 है, तो 130 को तो हटाना पड़ेगा, 130 हमने हटा दिया। देखिए, हाँ, वी हैव टू फाइंड द मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ बॉयज हु वर 13 ईयर्स और बिलो एंड हैड अ हाइट ऑफ 40 सेंटीमीटर और अबव। तो पहला वाला जो ग्रुप है ए लेस देन 10 में टोटल हाइट हो गई 1040। एक बॉय होगा जिसकी हाइट है 120, वो हटा दिया, एंड एक है जिसकी है 150, तो इनको हटा देंगे तो 770 बचा। मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स विद हाइट 140 और मोर कैन बी 2, बिकॉज 2 ही लोग हो सकते हैं, अदरवाइज एवरेज ही नहीं निकल पाएगा इतना। तो इसमें से आ गया हमारा आंसर 2, और एक जो हमारा मैक्सिमम वाला है वो हो गया 3। सिमिलरली फॉर बॉयज इन द नेक्स्ट एज ग्रुप 11 to 13, मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ बॉयज विद द हाइट 140 और मोर इज 9। सिमिलरली लॉजिक से अगर हम सॉल्व करेंगे तो देख लेंगे कि 9 इसमें आ जाएगा, तो टोटल आंसर हो गया 12। ऐसे ही करके हम नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की तरफ देखते हैं। तो इसमें पूछा है कि सेम, बट इसमें गर्ल्स के बारे में पूछा है, इसमें मिनिमम नंबर पूछा, अगेन एवरेज का करके मैक्सिमम को एक माइनस कर देंगे और आगे हमारा आंसर। अब ये इन्होंने और डायरेक्शंस दे दी हैं, 2 teams A and B of 5 boys each, 2 teams C and D of 5 girls each, overall E and F of 5% each. As the best teams are to be selected, some boys are included in team A, may also be included in the overall team. पूरा ये हमारा एक सिनेरियो बना दिया है। If it is known that the average height of team A is not more than the average height of team, then average height of A is at most. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, देखने में बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग लग रहा है। हम पढ़ते हैं, तो ये लिखा है कि वी हैव टू सिलेक्ट द 10 टॉलेस्ट ऑफ इन द कैम्प एंड डिवाइड देम इनटू 2 टीम्स सच दैट द एवरेज हाइट इज नियरली द सेम। 10 में डिवाइड किया और देखा कि एवरेज हाइट दोनों ग्रुप्स की ऑलमोस्ट सेम होनी चाहिए। ऑल द बॉयज इन द अबव 16 आर सिलेक्टेड एंड बॉयज फ्रॉम द एज ग्रुप आर ऑल्सो सिलेक्टेड इफ अज्यूम 4 बॉयज ऑफ हाइट 150। हमने जो 14 से 16 वाला है उसमें से अज्यूम किया कि 4 की हाइट 150 है और बाकियों की हाइट 180 है। These two are selected. There can be 3 or more boys in the age group 11 to 13 who have the height of 160 centimeters and 3 among these are also selected. मतलब इसमें से भी हमने 3 ले लिए, तो टोटल हमारे पास हाइट आ गई 1740। इसको हमने 5 से वो डिवाइड वो किया, टोटल हाइट को बच गए, तो ये हमारा 174 आ गया। तो टोटल हमारा मैक्सिमम वो क्या रहेगा, एवरेज जो हमारे को पूछा था वो हो गया 174। ऐसी सिंपल 59 क्वेश्चन इसी तरह के फॉर्मेट में है और 60 क्वेश्चन इसी क्वेश्चन के फॉर्मेट में। तो ये पूरा एमसीक्यू सेक्शन सॉल्व करके हमको ये पता चला कि अगर मैं अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 30 से 35 के बीच में क्वेश्चन सही कर देता हूँ तो मेरा ओवरऑल स्कोर बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा। 35 के हिसाब से 140 क्वेश्चन मैंने 140 नंबर का मैंने सही किया है। ओवरऑल मैं मान लेता हूँ मेरे 2-3 क्वेश्चन गलत भी हो गए हैं, तब भी मैं 125 से 130 नंबर का सही करके आ रहा हूँ। इससे मेरे ओवरऑल स्कोर पे बहुत बम पड़ता है। इस सेक्शन में टाइम कम रहता है, इसलिए बार बार किसी क्वेश्चन पे जाके अपना दिमाग खर्च करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। अगर आपको लग रहा है कोई क्वेश्चन आपको बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगा, आप सिंपली उसको स्किप करना चूज कर सकते हैं। इस सेक्शन के बाद हमारे पास नेक्स्ट सेक्शन आता है वर्बल एबिलिटी, जो अगेन एक बहुत ही ज़्यादा स्कोरिंग सब्जेक्ट है। तो अब हम चलते हैं वर्बल एबिलिटी की तरफ। अब हम आ गए वर्बल एबिलिटी सेक्शन की तरफ। वर्बल एबिलिटी सेक्शन में कोई ट्रिक नहीं है, आपको मैं कोई क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करके सिखाने का कोई ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं है। इसको मैं आपको बता सकता हूँ कि आप पूरे सेक्शन को ऐसे अप्रोच कर सकते हैं, पर क्वेश्चंस हैं जैसे कि मीनिंग ऑफ अ सेंटेंस, पैराजम्बल्स, इन क्वेश्चंस को पेपर किसी को देख के सॉल्व करते हुए देखने से आपको कोई फायदा नहीं। इसके लिए आपको सिर्फ और सिर्फ प्रैक्टिस चाहिए। तो हम एक बार ये डिस्कस कर लेते हैं कि इस पूरे मॉक को हम अप्रोच कैसे करेंगे, हम पेपर को अप्रोच कैसे करेंगे। तो पहला क्वेश्चन शुरू होता है हमारा, एक वर्ड और ग्रुप ऑफ इज हाइलाइटेड इन द सेंटेंस रिप्लेस्ड बाय एन ईडियम। अगर आपको ये ईडियम आता है, आप इसका मतलब समझते हैं, तो आप यहाँ से कर लेंगे। नहीं आता है तो इसमें अगर ये मुझे आता है या नहीं आता है, इससे आपको कोई फायदा नहीं होगा। तो ऐसे क्वेश्चंस को देखने में कोई मतलब नहीं। सिमिलरली ऐसे सारे क्वेश्चंस को ये जानना कि ये क्वेश्चन मैं कैसे करता हूँ, इसका कोई मतलब नहीं है, बिकॉज ये क्वेश्चन या तो मुझे आते हैं या तो मुझे नहीं आते। अगर मुझे नहीं आते हैं तो मैं स्किप कर देता हूँ, मुझे समझ आते हैं तो मैं आंसर टिक कर देता हूँ। सिंपल क्वेश्चन। इनकरेक्ट सेंटेंसेस, अगर आपको देख के ये क्वेश्चन समझ आ रहे हैं कि ये क्वेश्चन में इनकरेक्ट कैसे हो रहा है तो आप ये आगे कर पाएंगे, नहीं तो आपको ये स्किप करने पड़ेगा। अभी भी आप अगर चाहें तो आपके पास हैं 4-5 दिन, आप क्वेश्चंस करिए, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्वेश्चंस करिए, देखिए कि पैटर्न समझ में आपको आना शुरू हो जाएगा। आप देख के समझ पाएंगे कि ये क्वेश्चन देखने में गलत लग रहा है, तो ऐसे करके भी आपकी थिंकिंग डेवलप होगी। यूजुअली मैं ये पैटर्न फॉलो करता हूँ वर्बल एबिलिटी में कि मैं दोनों आरसी स्किप कर देता हूँ स्टार्टिंग में, बाकी के जो क्वेश्चन है उनको मैं करने की कोशिश करता हूँ पहले। किस हिसाब से? मैं ये मानता हूँ कि मुझे दोनों आरसी करने में लगभग 13 मिनट लगते हैं, 13-14 मिनट। तो बचे मेरे पास 26 मिनट, जिसमें मुझे अराउंड 25 क्वेश्चन करना है। अब अगर मैं पूरी स्पीड से इन क्वेश्चंस को करता हूँ तो ये क्वेश्चन अराउंड 20 मिनट के अराउंड में हो जाते हैं, तो मेरे पास रह गए 20 मिनट। अब मेरे दिमाग में प्रेशर हट जाता है कि अब मेरे पास कोई प्रेशर नहीं है, अब मैं ये आरसीज दोनों आरसीज आराम से पढ़ पढ़ के कर सकता हूँ। इसलिए मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि मैं आरसीज को स्किप करूँ। और अब बात करते हैं कि वर्बल में अच्छा स्कोर बुरा स्कोर क्या होता है। देखिए, हर साल वर्बल की डिफिकल्टी थोड़ी अलग होती है, और जैसे कि कट ऑफ देखे होंगे, कट ऑफ भी हाई होते हैं। तो क्या अच्छा स्कोर माने हम? अगर मैं 40 में से इसमें 32 तक क्वेश्चन ठीक कर देता हूँ ओवरऑल, मतलब 128 नंबर ले आता हूँ, तो ये बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा स्कोर। बिकॉज अगर मैथ्स में मेरा थोड़ा भी हाथ वीक रह जाता है, मेरा ऐसे में थोड़ा हाथ वीक रह जाता है, जस्ट कट ऑफ क्लियर हो पाती है, तो वर्बल सेक्शन पूरे स्कोर को खींच सकती है। कट ऑफ आपका सिर्फ एक एग्जाम का बेंचमार्क है क्लियर करने के लिए, आपका ओवरऑल स्कोर भी देखा जाता है। तो ओवरऑल स्कोर भी आपको मैक्सिमाइज करना है, साथ ही साथ में आपने वर्बल का, ऐसे का, एमसीक्यू का कट ऑफ भी क्लियर करना है। तो ये दोनों चीज़ें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ठीक है, इसमें बहुत सारे तरीके के क्वेश्चन हैं, इनकरेक्ट, जम्बल, फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स, ईडियम्स, मीनिंग्स, एक ये रिलेशनशिप वाले क्वेश्चन होते हैं, ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं। ऐसे करके आप, आरसी आ गया, आरसी को अगर आप टाइम नहीं देंगे, उस पर बैठ के सोचेंगे नहीं कि ये कहना क्या चाहता है क्वेश्चन, इस आरसी में मुझे क्या समझाना चाहते हैं, तो आप कंफ्यूज होंगे। कोशिश करिए आरसी को आप टाइम दे के दे करिए, कि आपने टाइम दिया कि मैं इस आरसी को इतनी देर में करूंगा, और फिर उसको कंप्लीट करिए। ये अप्रोच मेरे हिसाब से सबसे मेरे लिए कामयाब रही है। बहुत मॉक्स दिए हैं मैंने इस अप्रोच से, और यूजुअली ये अब टेक्निक काम कर जाती है। हो सकती है आपकी टेक्निक थोड़ी अलग हो, बट ये एक ओवरऑल टेक्निक है जो मुझे लगता है कि बहुत लोगों के लिए हेल्पफुल होगी। तो यहाँ पे हमारा ये मॉक पेपर का खत्म होता है। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग, एंड आई विल सी ऑल ऑफ यू इन द नेक्स्ट वन।